These ones... So the camera crane is essentially going to be a kind of cage that sits on top of my workbench. It's going to allow me to move my camera on an X and a Y axis quite a bit above my project. And it's going to allow me to work on smaller, more electronic things or things that are on the table and get a good shot that's well lit. So I'm really excited about this build. A little bit nervous too, but let's get into it. It's going to be fun. And this project's under 50 bucks, which is really good. Also, I will put a visual guide to this in the description below, maybe a little bit after I make this video, just so I've got some time to chill out. Let's stop wasting time and get into it. Alright, so these are all the pieces that you're going to need for your build, except for the fabric, which we're going to use to line the sliding mechanisms. I'll also show you how to make a camera anchor out of pieces from the hardware store as well, and that'll be custom fit so that we can put that sliding mechanism on. I've got here all of mine measured out and ready to go. With all these pieces, make sure you measure out your bench. I've measured mine so that it fits mine. So from here, we're gonna test fit everything, make sure it fits well, make sure all the sliding mechanisms and stuff don't get jammed. Once we're happy with that, we're gonna mark out where to glue and where not to glue. Once you put that cement on, that's game over. You're not gonna get that off unless you cut it. Also make sure that you've got some of this as well. We've got some priming fluid and we've got some PVC cement. This stuff is nasty, so make sure you get yourself some sort of breathing apparatus or do it outside. We're going to build the bottom first, so you need 4 of your joins. You're going to need 4 small sections. These are 2.5 centimeters long, and then you're going to need all your bases. So you need 2 of these shorter bits and 2 of these longer bits. These will be the length of your table and these will be the width. Okay, so you see these T-junctions here? This is going to be where your support beam goes and it'll dictate the height of your cage. Then we've got this angle out here that brings your ends out by probably about 2 inches. That's so that you're not getting the pipes in your shot. Your lens is not going to be wide enough to capture these pipes, but they will capture the top pipe. So I've made my height just enough so you can see the gap in the table. The top's going to be exactly the same as the bottom. Make sure you measure up all your pieces so that they're identical. Alright, so we're going to get started with the priming fluid. We're just going inside, then outside each section. Now this stuff dries pretty quickly, so let it sit and do one side at a time. With section B, the bottom, you can do both sides of the elbow because that part won't need to come apart. But for the top, part A, you want to leave all your elbows with one clean section because we're not going to glue that all together. I would recommend using gloves for this. I'm not using gloves because it's just easy to show you this way. So make sure you do both sides in this one, but do not do the middle in section because we're going to be able to take that off so that we can fold it away and it'll be more portable. So you just want to get inside both ends but not the third end. You don't need too much either, just a little bit. Once your primer's dry and you've got all your parts set out, we're going to get started on part B, the bottom. That means that all your elbows should have primer on each side and that you've got your 2 lengths that we're going to glue. And we're going to use this tabletop to make sure we square off the ends. You want to make sure that you've aligned your piece so that when it goes to putting it on, you can get as close to straight as possible. Now just make sure you get one of your pieces that you've already done and stick it just next to it, just so you can make sure that you're pushing it in as far as possible. Sometimes it's a bit deceiving. It might look like it's on there and it's the right length, but you might not have pushed it in as far. Alright, so keep it level, make sure you press down on the T-junction, line it up with your barrel, and then you're going to squeeze it together with both palms as far as you can until it goes right in. Give it a bit of a twist. A little bit of a twist, push, 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 push. Make sure it's both ends are flat on there. Yeah, nice. Cool. Perfect. Alright, good. There we go. You might have to press it in a bit. That popped out on me. Brilliant. Just to drive home how quickly this stuff sets, I misaligned my rod, and because the glue sets so fast, I try to adjust it and it just snapped. So you need to work really quickly and align it before you glue it. This is why we do it in 3 stages, so that you're not trying to adjust all the pieces at once. So with your bottom, we are going to cement the lengths. We're going to do this by carefully placing each of the joints in line with the length and make sure we get them right to the end. So there's little stoppers inside here which will indicate that you're at the end of that joint. For this side, we're going to dab it all on this ring and just a little bit. That way we've got more time to adjust. Make sure it is flat. And you should be able to do that quite comfortably. You should be able to sit it and it won't wobble too much when it sits there. Alright, that's very good. We'll sit this to dry. So waited 24 hours for this all to set. Just give it maximum bonding strength. Now we're going to go ahead and make the sides. We're going to dry fit the sides. So you'll notice in here, each of these, there's no primer because we're not going to glue them. Just going to go ahead and stick them together. Alright, so we've got our sides now set. We'll put these aside for now. We've got 2 sets of ends. The ones that we've glued together with the corners, they're going to be on the bottom, so they don't need to come off, they don't need to be adjusted. We're going to glue those onto those frames that we just made, but first we're going to dry fit them. Big one, stick your feet on the joins and push down really hard. You want to grab your 20mm pipe as well with the T fittings on there so that we can try and maintain that distance between the 2 parallel pipes. That's what you want. Now what you want to do is make sure that all the sections are tight. If they're tight, we're ready to go. So put some plastic down or some newspaper, because this is going to get messy again, and use a little bit of glue. Line up the piece that you're going to glue. Make sure everything is already connected so it's nice and square, and be gentle, and then quickly push in and hold it as far as you can inside the socket and hold it there for about 30 seconds. Everything stayed square. I'd recommend waiting maybe a minute or 2 between each join just to let this really grab. So I'm going to go ahead and do all the joins and we'll see you on the other side. Wish me luck. These are all the pieces you need to make your camera anchor. Now it's pretty simplistic. I'll just put the pieces down below and you can go out and shop for them. I'll show you how to make it. So just cannibalized one of my old projects, and all it is one of the 15mm T fittings. I've drilled a hole through the bottom of it so I can place this screw in there. Once the screw's in, you want to stick your spring inside of there. I've got both of the nuts on there now. This one outside is going to act as a locking nut, and the one inside is going to tension the spring. So you just stick your finger in there, hand screw it a bit, and then you see that's, there we go, there's nice and tension. So we'll leave it like that. So this is your 1/2 inch cap. I've just sheared off the top, so you'll get it and it'll be round, and then just shear off the cap so it's nice and flat, so you get a base for your camera. This is a TTC taper. It's 15mm, and then it goes into a threaded top. Now, they usually come like this. Imagine this is the reverse. I've just sheared off the top. You want to put these two together. Make sure that's sheared off enough so it fits right in that recession. That wants to be flat. Drill a hole straight through the top. Alright, so once you've got this in, you want it to sort of sit center. Get your cap with the round dome sheared off. I'm making this crane precisely for shots like this, so do forgive me if this is a bit gumby. And that's your camera anchor. That's how you build that. So this threaded piece has a smooth end that's 15mm, which will slide in here. We're not going to glue it. We're going to drill a hole through both of these as it's in, and then put a bolt and nut in. And that way we can attach it to this arm. So I'll pop a hole in here. We just want to jam it right in there. Very carefully start drilling in. So we didn't need the nut because the bolt didn't go all the way through, which is actually awesome. It went just up, and that's all we need. So you want it to be able to just hold this piece in place without sliding around. And then we just screw it onto the screw-on fitting, and so you want to get that as level as possible. Now you're going to do the same with the side. You're going to put a hole in. Once you've got it nice and straight. That was a big goof. So I just snapped my bit inside the pipe fitting. But you know what? Happy little accidents, right? Thanks, Bob Ross. I'm just going to leave it in there and it'll add some extra strength. Well, ignoring that little accident, this actually worked well. It's complete, it's level. Little crane arm is going to go through here, and we're going to be able to adjust it Y and X axes, which is awesome. Now it's time to do your sliding crane. So we've got to get some material. I've just got some offcuts. And you want to measure out just how much you can use without it dragging. And I've tested it out with this one here. See these notches here? You want this to free flow, so before you go and put your fabric in, cut those out. So what you'll need is to get your 20mm T-junction, and then you want to get your 15mm support beam, which you didn't glue in. This will be the top beam that we can adjust and pull out. You'll need some super glue, some fabric. I've got a piece of lead here. Anything that can fit inside that pipe nice and snug and leave a little bit of clearance. This is going to jam in the fabric. And get some scissors as well. And you don't want this too thick either, because it will cause it to catch, and if it catches, it's going to bend your frame. This piece of fabric is about 1.5 centimeters longer on each end, because we're going to trim and glue the end. So I want you to stuff the fabric in there like that. Pop your lead in, and then just slide that T-junction over. Pop your lead out, and then you can free slide. So now with your super glue, you're just going to want to dab across here, and then pull over. Do it in little sections, don't rush this. Just put little dabs down, and then you want to fold this over. And you fold it right around, and then do the same with this little section. And there we have it. Now, I'm guaranteeing you're going to have the same problem I'm having with this, which is that it just wants to jump from one side to another rather than go smoothly. I have figured out a way to fix this. If you got rope, use it. This is going to help you so much with this. Just loop a few knots over. The rope was a winner. I've got 2 strands, tied them both up here, double knots, and looped around with a little slip, and then knotted it at the end just so that we've got that tension pulling down this cable. Then knotted another side, so we've got this little hand grip here. I extended the rope. Pretty damn cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to finish the crane. Okay, so I've placed 2 dots here. I'm going to drill those out, but only down one side, because what we're going to do is we're going to use these bolts just to tighten up against this post here, so that when we've got it in there, it doesn't just flop down. We've got our anchor point fixed to the crane now. I've just put a few hex bolts in that are pretty strong. All you need to do with mounting is you do not need to disconnect this. You just put your camera on top and then power drill this in very carefully, and that'll tension up. I'm going to go ahead and put holes in this so I can pin the crane in. We don't want to glue it onto this because we want to be able to take the attachments off. What we're going to do is drill a hole in here, and then we're going to put a bolt in just so that we can access this pipe and we can take off the crane head. So, it works! Oh my god, this is so cool! Sorry, I did have expectations of this working. I just can't believe it worked without too much hassle. This is awesome. So there you have it, you got your camera crane. This thing is going to be super handy when you're doing some hands-on stuff. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, again, comments below. Otherwise, let me know how you went, and if you encounter any problems, I'll try and help. I can't help myself, I love that this works like that. Nice and lined up. Anyway, stay curious, stay kind, and stay creative. I'll see you next build.